Good morning, guys. Today we're going to be talking about meal planning and meal prepping. These are bigger topics, so we're actually going to break them up. I'm going to be talking about meal prep this morning, and Andrea will be talking about meal planning this afternoon, so make sure you tune back in for that. So anytime you do a fitness plan, your nutrition is really 80% of it. It's really important to have a plan and be ready to go so that when life happens, you're prepared and you can stay on track. So there are two main methods of meal prepping. One is you kind of have everything laid out on the counter and you get it done in one night and your stuff is kind of ready to go. That's kind of meal prep one. Okay. The second type of meal prepping is where you just make sure that you have all of your ingredients on hand. Not necessarily all compartmentalized and ready to go for the week, but when life is crazy, or if you're like me, I just like a lot of variety, and so I like to have different things each day. That's kind of the meal prepping that I probably do most and will probably talk to you most about today. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, or if this is your first time to do any kind of meal planning or meal prepping, I highly recommend you go to Beachbody On Demand. Go to Fix8, that's our cooking channel. It's found right along with our exercise programs. Click on Fix8, and under there, click on Foundational Videos. And you'll find two different videos on meal prep that will describe these main two methods. Okay, so how does this work with Shift Shop? Well, if you're using the first meal prep method of kind of laying everything out, I really think salads would be a great thing to do for that. It would be really easy just to go ahead and get all of that done and knocked out. When you're going to go to add your meats to those salads, I wouldn't keep them in your fridge longer than 3 or 4 days, but you could keep your meats separate in the freezer and then just go ahead and add them to your salads. So that would be a really simple way of doing that type of meal prep. If you're going to do more of the second type of meal prep where you just have things on hand, I've got a ton of ideas and things that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to share this with you. So I like to kind of think in terms of my containers when I think about how I'm going to prep and have things ready. So let's start with our greens and our purples, our fruits and veggies. So I like to take a lot of help from the frozen food section of my grocery store because it makes it super simple and it's always on hand and you have no work to do. So frozen broccoli, frozen spinach, those are things I always have in my freezer. I can quickly just pop them in a bowl, put them in the microwave, and done. No cleanup, 5 minutes and ready to go. Non-negotiables for me in there. Frozen Brussels sprouts. I do like to roast those. As far as roasting goes, I do like to spend a couple of days of the week roasting a lot of my vegetables. I do a lot of spaghetti squash and acorn squash and butternut squash. So those are things that we'll be utilizing a lot in Shift Shop as well, especially when we get to week 3. So you can go ahead and roast a bunch of vegetables all at one time, and they will be good to go for 4 to 5 days in your refrigerator. So that's another way to do that. Frozen fruit even. I keep frozen strawberries in my refrigerator at all times. And what I do, like in the morning, I like to have strawberries with my eggs. And so I'll just pop them in the microwave for about 1.5 minutes. It's not quite the same consistency as the fresh, but I don't have to wash them. I don't have to chop them. I don't have to worry about them going bad, and they're always there. So that's what I do. Let's see, canned fruit is another thing. Canned peaches and pineapple in their own juice. They come with a little bit of concentrated fruit juice in them, so I just give them a little rinse, but they're great in a pinch where I don't have fresh fruit on hand. Bananas keep really well. I like to eat them with peanut butter, and so that's another fruit that I like to have on hand. That's kind of fruits and vegetables at my house. Baby carrots and baby peppers. I like to keep those in the fridge. You can go ahead and do all of your chopping at one time, like chopped cucumbers, things like that you can just quickly grab. So those are different ways that I will prep that. Meats. Okay, let's move on to meats. You can keep meat in the freezer too. I do grilled chicken, I do crock-pot chicken, I do shredded pork, ground lean beef, ground lean turkey. Those are all things that you can make and prepare ahead of time, put them in freezer bags, and have them ready to go. So, you're not always going to be living out of your freezer, but if you don't have time to cook in a particular night, or you just don't feel like it, it's nice to have those things on hand. I'm sure your life is crazy like mine, so that's why I do a lot of this type of freezing. Okay, other proteins that you're going to want to have on hand are eggs. Eggs are a great A great protein. Eat the whole egg. The yolk has a lot of great nutrients and good fats for you in there too. Yogurt is on our list. You can easily have that ready to go. You can mix it with fruit. You can have it in the morning for breakfast. There's lots of ways to incorporate that as one of your reds. There will be more reds as we go throughout the week, so it's good to have a little bit of mixture of actual meat versus like your eggs and your dairy. Okay, carbs. This is where we're going to have the biggest difference between Portion Fix and Shift Shop. So the first week we have all of our squashes. We have sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, and we also have like beans and lentils, edamame, things like that. So canned beans, you can't get much more simple than that. Frozen edamame, really simple to have on hand. Again, with roasting your squashes ahead of time. Here's something I just learned to do not long ago. You can put sweet potatoes and potatoes in the crock pot. It's awesome. Make sure you pierce them, put them in the crock pot, turn them on low until they're ready to go. And what I like to do is I split them in half lengthwise, lay them flat in a freezer bag, and then they are ready to go. So on a night when I'm tired, I've come home from a long day, I can get out some frozen chicken, some frozen sweet potato, some frozen broccoli, put it in the microwave, and I'm done. So, and Andrea will get it more into meal planning, and there are a ton of really awesome recipes that go with Shift Shop. And so I'm just going to touch on what I like to do. I like to plan a couple of meals, a couple of new fresh meals that don't necessarily come from the freezer for the week. But if I can't get to those, the meal prepping that I've talked about is nice to have as your backup. So let's see, fats. Pretty simple. I like to have coconut oil on hand, peanut butter, nuts of all kinds, and then prepping for your shake. A lot of people like to keep frozen bananas or even frozen spinach. They'll take a cup of spinach and go ahead and freeze it and put it in a bag. And, you know, that's good to go too. And so if you want to make that super simple so that your shakes are ready to go in the morning and you want to add those things to your shake, that's another way to prep. All right, I think that's everything on my list. That's everything I can think of. Make sure to check out those foundational videos on Fixate and ask us any questions. We'll talk about meal planning later today. And if you have any questions about anything as we go, please reach out to any of the coaches here. We would all love to help you, and we hope that you're having a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.